Hello, Natalia. So please tell us, how are you now?
Hello, Florian. I'm really glad to see you, to hear you. I hope that we will meet in another situation, but we have what we have. To be honest, it's very complicated because from one side, in Chernivtsi, me and everybody who I'm familiar with feel themselves more or less secure. Yes, it's southwestern border of Ukraine, so it's more or less okay, and it's more or less stable situation. But as far as you know, Ukraine right now is attacking, is under the bombing, and as a Ukrainian, as a person who have relatives, friends all over Ukraine, in Kiev, in Cherkasy, in Kharkiv, of course, I feel myself very insecure, and I feel some internal necessity to unite with other people to do something to protect my home, my country, and to do everything I can in this situation.
Yes, I believe you. So is there a sort of academic life now in Chernivtsi at the university?
Okay, so 2 weeks we had vacations. So from the from the 1st of March till this Monday we had vacations because of war, and part of our students went to the front, part of our students were mobilized, went to the territorial defense, etc., etc. But after that, it was decided to restore educational process in Ukrainian university schools, etc., because children and young people need to get some education, yes, and they need some stability, at least a little bit, especially in places where there is no open attacks and open attacks. I'm sorry. So we have right now the restoring this educational process, and right now around 700 pupils from other parts of Ukraine started to study in our Chernivtsi schools, for example. A number of students from Kiev, Kharkiv, Dnipro, and other universities started to study at our university. We have distance learning, so it's online because nobody know what would happen in next moment, and of course we want our students to be secure, and we are providing some events mainly online, but almost all of them are dedicated to the situation in Ukraine, because of course that's the current and the most actual question.
So how is the humanitarian situation now in Chernivtsi? You have many refugees, I guess.
Yes, our city is not ready, to be honest, to accept so huge number of people who came and who are still coming to Chernivtsi. You know Chernivtsi, you've been here, so you know it's a really small town, and it's very calm in some senses. I don't know the exact number of people who came here already, but it's more than 30,000 people, I guess. A number of children, a number of elderly people, a number of women, and many of them stay in Chernivtsi. Some of them stay in villages around the Chernivtsi, and our authorities and our volunteers organize some centers for giving them some support, humanitarian support. So they are registering, they get some support from meal, clothes, some medicines, some other things. And everybody is hoping that the situation will be stabilized and they can return to the normal life, because that's the current question for many of them. And many people, just a moment, and many people who came in Chernivtsi, they are leaving. So that's like this checking point to go to the Western European countries, to Romania, to Germany, to France, to the Netherlands, etc., etc.
And you are still staying there in Chernivtsi, maintaining education?
Yes, I am still in Chernivtsi, and I hope that we can restore our state and we can restore the education and academic process in our native Chernivtsi.
Yes. So you try to give a sort of normality, so to speak, for students and pupils.
Yeah, from my own experience, I had this week several lectures with students, and I was surprised, really surprised, because, for example, on Monday, my lesson was the first one with our young students, so the second year student of bachelor's degree, yes, and almost all of them connected to the lesson. Almost all of them participated in our discussion, and video was switched on. That was surprisingly, because you know that some of students don't like it and they switch off because they don't want somebody to see them, etc., etc. But as far as I understand, they need some psychological support in this unstable time.
Yes.
And that's very good in this sense that we are trying to restore this normal educational process.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
So what do you hear from other parts of the country, from your friends, your colleagues?
Oh, that's really, really, really complicated, because my mother is living in Kiev Oblast. So from her, I hear one sentences and clarification about one situation. My friend also is living in Kiev Oblast, in Cherkasy, in some other cities, and the most dangerous is bombing, because nobody knows what would happen. And also this looting of Russian soldiers, that's unbelievable for many people who are living outside of these calm regions, because nobody was expecting such behavior of soldiers. Of course, nobody was expected of the war, but in this sense, when some humanitarian aid is going to the women, to children, and soldiers are getting this meal to themselves, and that's like unbelievable, really unbelievable. And also these killings of civil population, which I didn't hear from my friends, but I've heard about that from some people. That's also awful. I just describe you one situation because that made me very emotional. One of our colleagues lived in Bucha. So you know, this is one of the most destroyed city right now in Ukraine, and her husband was killed on her eyes, and she was even not allowed to bury him. So that was awful. She is right now happy that she could get out of Bucha, but she couldn't even bury her husband. She wasn't allowed by Russian troops to do it, and that was unbelievable, really unbelievable.
I see. So what do you expect from the time coming? How do you assess the near future now?
You mean from the situation?
Yes.
Okay, just I just want to think, and I was thinking, there are two me right now, me as a historian and me as a mother and woman. So as a historian, I think and I expect that the war will continue in nearest future. So I don't see any evidence of stopping it right now, and any readiness of sides of aggressor, for example, to stop it. And I understand that the dynamic will change and will be changing from time to time. It depends on different factors. But it is right now very hard to develop a shared vision of peace because of some objective circumstances. And as far as you can understand, the big part of Ukraine is ruined. Thousands of people are killed, and Russian Federation right now set some unreasonable ultimatums to Ukraine. So we can't accept it, and that's normal. Nobody can't accept such ultimatums as they do. So in this sense, I think that this war really is unprecedented in contemporary times. And as far as I can see, everybody right now, Ukraine and all our Western allies, all Western countries are trying to find some solution of this situation, because nobody was expecting and nobody knows what to do in these situations, because it's really unpredictable and nobody knows what will the leader of our northern neighbor will do in next moment. Really, nobody knows. So I think that this situation will be very hard for next weeks at least. And as a mother and as a woman, I am afraid a little bit, probably not a little bit. And I feel myself insecure, because I think that our children, our parents, all my family, big family, Ukrainian family is really in a big danger right now. And not only Ukraine, but also Europe, because as far as you know, Ukraine has a number of nuclear stations, atomic energy stations, yes, and that's also very dangerous. The situation could be dangerous in war. Yes, nobody knows what could happen in next moment.
So what can we contribute here in the West? What do you expect from us?
To be honest, first of all, I want to thank you all people and all Western governments, authority, for their support and their aid, which you are giving every moment of this war, from the first moment of the war till today. And I'm sure that that will be next days and next time. Yeah, you are supporting us very much. So in this sense, I'm really thankful for all what is doing for us. And I want to tell that I can't compare this war with any another one in history, because even if we compare with Poland, yes, it's very popular in 1939, for example, it's completely another situation. Ukraine right now has huge support from Western countries. We are not alone, and that's very important for all of us. So that's really important, and that's, I think, the basis for victory of democracy in contemporary world. So that's the first one. The second is, yes, we need some humanitarian aid. We need medicines, especially in central, eastern, northern part, which is ruined by Russian attack and bombing, because really our soldiers, our people who are living there, they have no possibility even to buy them. So they are talking that they don't need money, because they can't buy anything for money, but they need some medicine and some meal. Yes, that's very important, and we need it. And also, I think that it would be great, and it is doing right now, that I personally expect some information support, which we have, but probably we need a little bit more, and probably share it as is possible. And this information support consists from two parts. One is debunking of Russian fakes and disinformation, because this machine of fakes production is working very well in the Russian Federation, and you know that as the scientist, as a historian, etc. And second one is like to probably wide this information platform for Ukrainian voice concerning the situation in Ukraine. Yes, because we didn't pay probably so much attention to this question before, but we need this information support. So in this sense, it's really very necessary, because by this way, we can probably influence on public opinion in democratic states. And this is very important to provide in future this negotiation process to get some benefits for all democratic world, and to restore this really prosperity in Ukraine, of course, and in every European democratic state.
That's what we are trying in this podcast, to show an authentic voice from the Ukraine, not from second hand, but from the first hand. So Nataliya, is there anything else you would like to say us?
Yes. Just one probably sentences. First of all, I just want again to thank everybody for support we get. That's really important, and that helps us to feel more secure and to feel not alone in the struggle for peace and for democracy. The second point is really this war, which is provided by Russian Federation, demonstrated a huge violence and contempt for human as the highest value in contemporary world. Not to mention about laws, about existing system of international relations. So that's also very important to understand that there were no wars like this before. And I hope and I'm sure that all democratic world will do everything possible to stop this one and to never allow the next one, because it will ruin the whole world.
Nataliya, thank you very much for your honesty and yes, your report from Chernivtsi.
Thank you.